There are many falsehoods being perpetrated in the world against Israel. I'll only mention one. Besides apartheid, that Jerusalem is holy to Muslims, a total falsehood. It's this nonsense of occupation. Is there really a real occupation now? Israel has given away all of Gaza, 40% of Judea and Samaria. That's where 98% of the Palestinians live. They have their own parliament, schools, textbooks, newspapers, radio stations, TV, business and police force. There is no occupation. This was never their sovereign land. And if it was their sovereign land, how could that be that they would have named it Palestine? A Roman name, not an Arab name. We are the only significant organizations making it clear on Congress and to the media and in public speeches that there is no occupation. This is holy Jewish land. It has never been sovereign Arab land. This is a uniquely special, extraordinary Jewish night. Tonight, we are commemorating the 100-year anniversary of the Balfour Declaration, which picked up on God's promise, and the 50-year reunification of Jerusalem, which picked up on God's promise. And we're celebrating the 120th anniversary of the establishment of the Zionist Organization of America, which picked up on Herzl's promise to have opposed the Gaza withdrawal, to have supported the right of Jews to live anywhere they want in Judea and Samaria. We're the only organization today of significance that opposes a Palestinian terrorist state and opposing any more unilateral concessions to Abbas and his racist, bigoted, Jew-hating terrorists. No more concessions. And ZOA is proud that Justice Brandeis is part of our storied history, and we follow his dictum and advice. He urged, read and master the facts, and you will be able to overcome the indifference and the opposition which surround you. That's what ZOA does today. 120 years after our founding, much of our work continues to be providing the facts on college campuses, through our campus division, through our Law and Justice Center, to Congress, through our Office of Government Relations, to the media, communities, the American public, through speeches, articles, and media appearances, through our Israel office, and through our new training program for millennials on Israel advocacy, which is called Fuel for Truth. We're now training many kids in their 30s. We who care about and love the Jewish state of Israel, we must continue to believe in miracles. Because who would have believed, and even though Israel was the David, and the huge Arab world was the Goliath, that we, the Israeli Jewish public, would win the wars in 48, and 56, and 67, and 73, and 82. It was a miracle. Who would have believed that Israel, which began with 600,000 Jews 69 years ago, would today have a population of almost 7 million Jews? It's a miracle. Who would have believed that Israel, which had only 6% of the world's Jews 69 years ago, now has almost half of the world's Jews living in Israel? It's a miracle. Who would have believed that Israel would have made the desert bloom? And just as our Torah, the Holy Bible, promised, the Bible says the Holy Land will remain barren. Nothing will grow until the Jews return. And for God's sakes, that's just what happened. It's a miracle. The story of Gush Katif proves it. The land the Arabs called accursed in Gaza. When the Jews came, the Arabs said, don't try to build anything, grow anything. Nothing grows here. But in fact, when the Jews grew there, it yielded at one time most of the agricultural exports to Israel. And when the Jews left, the land became useless again. Even the insects participated. The vegetables that had been once famously bug-free began to develop bugs under Arab oversight. The thriving business of Gush Katif languished in the hands of the Arabs. Even the managers who worked under the Jews had all the expertise, could not do it. Why? The land did not cooperate. Because God controls history. The Bible said the land will remain barren until the Jews return. That's what happened. It's enough to make you late to fill in and keep Shabbos. There really is a God. Human beings would never have written that.
This Justice Louis D. Brandeis Award, I'm reading it, is presented, way too heavy for you, to Iris and Shalom Maidenbaum. You want to hold it? It's very heavy. For your lifelong advocacy and commitment to Zionism and the well-being and security of Israel and the Jewish people. You are an inspiration and example for all of us to emulate. It is at this event of the Zionist Organization of America, Mort Klein, National President, Michael Goldblatt, Chair, November 12, 2007, 23 Cheshvan, 5778, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
Whoa, heavy.
I was really touched winning being awarded the Mort Zuckerman Journalism Award. Mort was and has been a good friend of mine. Unfortunately, he couldn't be with us. His significant other for many years, Clara Del Villar, is with us tonight. Clara, maybe you could wave somewhere. She's here. And Mort is a profile of courage. We have a number of these profile of courages tonight, and I think that's another thing that unites us. We're willing to take strong stands when the world is against us. I remember in the 2012 election, he thought Obama was a very dangerous threat to the security of Israel and the security of the United States, and he owned the Daily News. And everyone knows the Daily News is a Democratic newspaper read by Democrats. And he went out and he endorsed Mitt Romney in that election. Why? Because he believed in our country and he believed in the support of Israel. I'm very honored that Alan Dershowitz gave me the award tonight. Alan has been a hero of mine. He calls me a mensch, but he's actually a hero, because I know that he has been, his cocktail party invites in Georgetown, Upper East Side, Martha's Vineyard, they've disappeared because he's just telling people the truth about Donald Trump. And they can't take it. And he's not saying, hey, I voted for Donald Trump, or I support. He said, here's what the law says and how it should apply. That we shouldn't, just because somebody had a meeting, that doesn't mean there's collusion. And we constantly see this. Joe Lieberman is here with Hadassah tonight, and that is a... I know when the certain parts of the Democratic Party tried to run Joe out of the party, Newsmax came strongly behind him. We knew that it was so important to have that critical voice in the Senate. I'm so glad that after, Hadassah told me, Joe never retired. He's more busy now than he was as a senator. He's here tonight, so I'm very honored.
As the Managing Director of the Campus Department, I would like to thank the Zionist Organization of America and the Myron Zimmerman Foundation for providing us with a platform to recognize and honor outstanding Zionist, pro-Israel student achievement and leadership on campus. Tonight's two honorees could not come from more distinct backgrounds. One a male, the other a female. One grew up in the West Coast. The other is from right here in New York. One is a social media warrior who has taken on challenges from within the feminist community and attends one of the most hostile anti-Israel campuses in the country. The other, while a former IDF soldier, upon his return to the US, awakened a sleeping pro-Israel community on his campus and has made serious waves, becoming one of the most successful student-supporting Israel chapters in the nation. Natan Ben Shimol and Heather Alper, while hailing from different Zionist upbringings, have both demonstrated incredibly effective and meaningful Israel advocacy and are serious assets to ZOA campus and the pro-Israel continuity as a whole. Well done, Heather and Natan. We salute you both. Keep up the great work. Mr. Zimmerman, would you like to come up, please?
Thank you. Dr. Wu, thank you. I am honored to receive this award from the Zionist Organization of America, and now doubly so to receive it in the name of Wu Kai-shek, understanding the heroism and principle that motivated him. And may this really be a sign of a continuing bridge between the Jewish people and the people of Asia. Thank you very, very much. So the Zionist organization was founded in 1897. It was the first pro-Israel American political organization in the age of modern Zionism. But as you know, Zionism began a long time before that. About 4,000 years before that, in the covenant that God entered with Abraham. You might say that God was, in fact, the first Zionist. And to pick up from something my dear friend Chris Reddy said, Abraham was probably the first recipient of the Profile and Courage Award. Because think about it, he took on the idolatrous establishment of the day and uphold what we now call monotheism. God saw that Abraham's heart was loyal to him. He entered the covenant and he called on Abraham to leave his family, leave his land, and go to the land of Israel, where his descendants would become a great people. As Dr. Masrick said at the beginning, yesterday in synagogues around the world, we read the story of Abraham.
Take my hand, follow me. Take my hand, follow me. Take my hand.